Available dual airbags and anti-lock brakes. Mercury offers them on Grand Marquis and Sable. And now, lease Mercury Sable. Sleek, responsive, comfortable, for a low payment of $299 a month. Or Mercury Grand Marquis, room for 6, V8 power, at just $399 a month. Mercury Sable and Grand Marquis, where savings and safety run side by side. All this and the quality of a Mercury.
Total indulgence, zero guilt.
New chocolatey brownie a la mode from Weight Watchers.
Total indulgence, zero guilt.
Presenting some more of the 2,000 body parts you can clean with Lever 2000, the deodorant soap that's better for your skin and all your 2,000 parts.
For 5 years, they brought justice where there was none. Tuesday marks the end of an era, the gripping final episode of In the Heat of the Night, when Gillespie and Tibbs are accused of a crime they did not commit and must fight for their lives.
I don't know how I'd vote if I won that jury.
Come back one last time for the last Heat of the Night ever on NBC, Tuesday.
Next week, Today takes you behind the scenes of Johnny's Farewell Week. Plus, Sigourney Weaver and Tom Cruise on America's Most Watched Morning Show. Today.
Mel and Goldie, Bird on a Wire, NBC Monday.
WPSD and Sports Against Cancer are proud to announce the 11th annual Hardee Softball Classic, June 12th and 13th at Paducah's Stuart Nelson Park. The event will be a 24-team double elimination tournament with a 55-minute limit on each game. Bring your team out and challenge the best softball players in the region. Registration is $130 for each 14-member team. The deadline is June 1st. For more information, contact Bob Fessmeyer at WPSD. All proceeds benefit the American Cancer Society.
When the weather gets threatening, my first thought is for the safety of the people in its path. You can have all the forecasting equipment in the world, but if you can't get through to them, what's it worth? Somebody called me the other day and said, I'm sure glad WPSD's on the radio. When my power goes out, I'm listening to you. So maybe they won't see my face sometimes. It's more important they get the message.
WPSD, your 24-hour news source. With a 35-year tradition of regional news, sports, and weather, this is NewsBeat Tonight with Sam Burridge, Dave Winder, and Lou Jatan.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us. A car pedestrian accident this afternoon has claimed the life of a Marshall County woman. 25-year-old Monica Lowton of Calvert City was pronounced dead at the scene. State police say Lowton was walking alongside the Jackson Schoolhouse Road with her husband and 2 young sons when she was struck by a car driven by 61-year-old Joe Youngblood of Benton. So far, no charges have been filed. A Missouri teenager who was not even old enough to drive was killed this morning in a traffic crash in Cape Girardeau. Police are withholding the name of the 15-year-old boy who was from Dexter. 2 teenage passengers were injured in the crash. Police say the car they were traveling in was reported stolen from Dexter 2 weeks ago. A Tennessee teenager showed little emotion today when he was convicted of murdering his mother and attempting to kill his father. 17-year-old Bobby Holmes of Clarksville was sentenced to life in prison for the shooting death of his mother in March of '91. He'll be sentenced June 29th for the shooting that left his father in a wheelchair. The prosecution said the teenager was deep into alcohol and drugs and was trying to get his parents' credit cards to finance his dream of becoming a skateboard professional in California. And a grisly scene in Oklahoma City where the bodies of 5 females were found this afternoon. The victims ranged in age from 14 to about 40, and all 5 had died of gunshot wounds. A boyfriend of one of the women found the bodies in one room of a house in what police described as a quiet neighborhood. The victims had been dead less than a day. Police are saying little about the crime. Closer to home, the military men and women who protect our country were honored today. And as Susan Risden reports, a large crowd showed up for the 12th annual observance of Armed Forces Day.
The military is something that fascinates young children, like this boy who may someday decide to enlist in the armed forces. Military personnel say this is both a happy and sad celebration. It's not only a time to honor those who defend our country, but it's also a day to remember those who lost their lives in battle. Just last year, many soldiers were killed in the Persian Gulf.
We had a lot of units in the state of Illinois that were actually involved in it, and we also had several that were in support. And the big thing, I guess you could say, was that the family support and the community support was something that was really appreciated by all the men, the ones that were here and the ones that were waiting to go and the ones that were over there.
This is not only a day to honor those who serve in the military, but it's also a time to appreciate police officers and search and rescue teams who protect their community every day. The Wren Lake Search and Rescue Team demonstrated how to save a drowning victim. Divers say it's possible a person can live as long as an hour underwater if he or she is given proper treatment. There have been 22 reported drownings at Wren Lake.
This is a great lake. It's a pretty lake, but it's just like any other lake. Fishermen are going to fall out of boats, hunters are going to fall, kids are going to drown. It's just a fact of nature. We like to be trained and prepared for these situations when they arise.
The SIU skydiving team also dropped in to entertain the crowd. This was one of several commemorations throughout Illinois. With photographer Jim Thomas, Susan Risden, NewsBeat 6, Franklin County.
Coming up later, the endeavor is over, but Lou Jeton is just beginning. He's here with a weekend forecast that includes a pretty good chance of rain. Huh, Lou?
That's right. More warm temperatures. The humidity is going to stay.